Okay, good. Yeah, thanks for reminding. Okay, so um, okay, so today's class, we'll talk about these modules. See, the problem is we don't have all the modules at this time. Okay, but don't worry. When you're getting a recording, you get a better, you know, the recording which has all these features. Okay, here right at this point of time, you don't have this. All the modules actually the major modules here. So here let's discuss about this little bit here, right? Okay. So it's similar to all of the test management tools. So far we have seen Rally. Okay, we have seen Jira. Okay, we also seen a little bit of TFS, right? Not completely. We'll talk about TFS on 22nd. Okay, so let's check it out. Okay, let's check it out quickly. If module, let's come back. Okay, so if you need access to this HPLM, right, check with Tagore. Okay, you can, you need to have VPN connection and you need to check. So it's a little bit convoluted process. But yeah, all of my, tools, you don't need any VPN, just access. Okay, great. We got this. Okay, so it's good. Okay. Just give me a second. I'll check it out here. The problem is since Hangouts have been integrated, right? So that's a problem here. Okay. 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 So here, good. We are back into this. Okay, good. So here you have modules. See, just like Rally, Jira, that's a little bit good because you are directly writing everything on that user story on that particular requirement. So that is a little bit easy. Okay, but HPLM is a lot convoluted process. Okay, and it's of course obsolete. I would say it's obsolete. What it's slowly getting. The market really slowly goes down. Although people are still using it because they have license and all those things issues. But I would say if you are, no, I would say you need to learn new tools. And okay, HPLM, yeah, you need to know it. It's good to know, but you cannot just stick around with HPLM saying that no, I only want HPLM. I will only work as HPLM administrator. So you cannot stick at that because things keep on changing, right? You get new things, like agile. If you're moving into agile, HPLM is really not that useful. Why? Because you will be not having enough time to. So there's a lot of redundant work here. Okay. So let's see here. Okay. So major important modules here is requirement modules, test plan, test lab, and defects. Four important modules. Okay. For us, so let's see here. So let's see here. This is the dashboard. This requirement module. Okay, so this is the requirement module. Here you will be mostly having access to read-only access. Okay, so you will be only having read-only access, and you're not supposed to, as a QA tester or QA analyst, you're not supposed to manipulate anything or edit something in this is because this is the requirements. You're not allowed to modify or manipulate anything. You need to only view. So requirement, let's say. So here's the thing. There's a lot of project goes on. Just you can see here. This is the thing. You will be having a lot of projects, and that project you might have sub projects. And you have more sub projects out there. Okay, but here let's see. If I know my requirements, if you need to figure it out your requirement, which requirement are you working on? What is the requirement? Okay, you need to check with the lead, or check with your colleagues, or you need to check with the business analyst guy who is responsible for creating these requirements. Okay. At the to start with, you may not have readily BA business, and you may not communicate directly to them. Once you get used to the team, let's say 3-4 months, you get to know people. But to start with, you may not readily know people at that time. Okay, so so this is the requirement. Okay, so I'll not go all those all these modules. We have a lot of modules here. Okay, here you can see here, this is who is the author of this requirement, and what is the type of the requirement. Is it functional? Is it performance? Is it is it automation? So on. And once you do all this, you have these instructions here. As I said, it's not necessary that it has to be, everything has to be, as per QA. It doesn't have to be. They'll just put some lot of information. There might be a lot of information, but then you need to, understand what this information means as a QA point of view. Okay. And sometimes they might not have information at all. Okay, in that case, you need to check if you have any questions. Okay. Also, you can look at this attachment. Sometimes they might attach like a FRD and something like that. Once they attach, it will be here, and you can check in that one. Okay, so that is one of the things. And okay, we'll talk about this requirement traceability. There's something called RTM, requirement traceability matrix. The definition is all the test case should at least match one requirement. Okay, all the test cases should at least match one requirement is called RTM, requirement traceability matrix. Okay, this test coverage is more for a lead point of view. He looks, okay, what's going on with this, what's the linkage of the user story and all those things. Okay, so and as a QA point of view, your job is only to look into this, just look into it as in the other tool do, right? You used to have user story. You only look to the user story. You're not supposed to modify it. You're not to do anything with that. You need to just see what is there for you and what you have to do based on that requirement. Okay, that's what you have to understand. So that's it about this user story. And at the max, you will be doing RTM. That means linking your test cases or linking your test cases to the requirements. That's what you will be doing in RTM. Okay, we'll see that in later. Okay, so that's it about requirements. Any questions about requirements? You will not be doing anything. You're not supposed to check in. I mean, you will not even have access to all these things. Okay, this is check in. Okay, that's fine, because here you don't have access levels, but in the project you will not have all this access. Okay, you're not able to create folder. You cannot able to create any requirement. You see this? You cannot create. It will be disabled. Okay, so here it's not very, but it will be disabled like this. Okay, you cannot create requirements. So because if you are going to the QA, if you are going to the business analyst, of course you have access, read and write access. But if you are going to the QA, you'll be only having the read access, not write access. Okay, so you can view it. Okay, so if no questions, let's go to the next one. Let's go to the next test plan. So here is Now this you have both access, read and write access. Okay, here you have both, let's see here. Um, Again, here is the thing, you have a lot of things goes on here, a lot of projects goes on, and a lot of things are happening. First you need to find your own project which you're working on. Okay, so you need to figure it out which project you're working on, and there's again sub project, inside that is more sub projects, a lot of things. Okay, once you figure it out which directory you're working on, which folder you're working, okay, you need to create your own folder. I mean, it's not really necessary, but yeah, I would recommend that. The reason, because that's what where you will be putting your test cases. Okay, um, just to organize, organize, right? If you want to organize, it's up to you. If you don't want to organize, it's up to you. But organize your work, because if you're working in more than one project, two more projects, then if you're not organizing it, you will be confused. Okay, you don't know what you're doing. You don't want that, right? So what you want to do is go to this particular, let's say this is the project I'm working on, and I'd like to organize my work. Okay, so whatever whatever work is there, I don't want I'll you know, uh, you don't want all confusion here. So what I'll do is that, let's see here, let's create a directory. A similar way you can create directory. See here, copy this. Click here, click on this main folder of the project and then create directory, so that it creates subdirectory for that. Okay, you don't want to create a directory which is inside subdirectory. Okay, you just, because this is a process normally it gets followed in company. So just do this and click on OK. So once, okay, so this is here. Okay, so you want to click on refresh. If you refresh it, that will get organized here. Okay, so now this is good. This is the 18th one, and we are. Okay, so here is, we are in the 18th directory, and now what you have to do is you need to create this set. Okay, so what exactly is this? This is a framework. Okay, so we cannot create. See, that's the problem here, right? Now this is a framework here. Whenever you try to create new, you're not creating a new test case. Here you're creating a framework. That means um, that's before writing a test case, you need to create framework. Okay, now that's really complicated to understand to start with, but you know what, we'll just do it here. Okay, so if he is here, let's see. Okay, something, somebody created this, right? Which, let's do this. Let's delete this. So you may not have access to delete it. Okay, so what you can do is, let's see here, because sometimes administrator, what the administrators does is they'll create a directory and they'll put they'll say that, okay, they'll say that put all this into that if there is anything there, but we cannot really have this delete option. Okay, so they will not put delete option here, but here in this case we have delete option, so we can delete it. Okay, so this is the directory. Now we need to create a test set here. Let's create a test set, and once we create this, let's see here. Okay, this is okay. 16. And here you specify what's the what type it is a manual, is it a performance? Okay, you want to specify that here. So here you see this red color, red color. So here a lot of information should be filled, wherever you do, in whatever tool you are using, there is some kind of information which you need to fill. What is the project? Who is the developer assigned to it? What is the version of the project? Who is going to review it, and all those things. Okay, those are mandatory. So here the red color, you see this, the red color here, level, review, priority. That means mandatory. You cannot skip that. Here we'll just put as medium, reviewed, not reviewed, priority medium, creation date, that's today's date, reviewer, who is the reviewer? Normally here will be the lead, your lead will be the reviewer, and it's in the design status, so it's the design, test effort, whatever the effort is this, and priority. Okay, so the priority can create it, and this attachment will, so this is really not the use of this attachment here, so we'll talk about that. And click on OK. Okay, so we have just created a framework. Why is this framework? So that's where you need to write your test cases, right? So so this is really a little bit complicated to understand. So normally you don't need any framework to write your test cases. Just like Rally, if you see this, there's nothing like framework or something, right? Okay, so let's look at it here pretty quick here. So that's the problem, right? I mean, this is pretty simple and easy. If you understand this Rally, that's more than enough, because HPLM is a little bit, one step behind, not just one step. HPLM is pretty old, it's like from 2008, so they have this test director coming on. So let's see here pretty quick. So when you are writing test cases in Rally, you're not supposed to create any framework or something, right? You just create a test case on that particular requirements, right? Let's see here pretty quick. People who missed it can just look at it. So here, when you're creating let's say this is a requirement and this is what you're creating, this is sub requirement, which if you're creating here, right, you're just creating here just a test case. Just go here and you're writing your test cases here. So there's really nothing called framework. Just not sure. These are issues. Let's try it again. Okay, so but here there is a framework for every test cases or every set. So this is called set, where you can create your own. Let's see here. Okay, so I need VPN for that. Let's not worry about it for now. I have issues. Actually, there's the internet connection when I use this VPN, so maybe that's why it's not working. Okay, so it will be working for you. You can check it out at home. Okay, you're really not required to create any framework when you're using it. Okay, in any other tool. Okay, except this HPLM. But here you need to require. That's what we did. We created a test. Framework, and once you create this framework, fill out all this information, go to the design step. So here you will be creating test cases. Okay, here is the, so let's see here. Now what I'll do is, since you guys are already familiar with test cases, right? So what I'll do is I'll just copy this test case here, copy it, because you know how to write the test cases, right? So I'm not going through that again. So just paste it here. So most of the time you'll be also doing the copy paste. You need to copy the previous test cases, whatever is there, and because you need to understand the template, right? you need to understand this template and okay, because the way that the test cases are being written in the company is like, it's different in how they are writing, so it's normally for the base of template. So it's always better to request a template or find out yourself. Mostly you have to find out yourself the template for the test cases, how you're supposed to write. How is the because the project it depends on project, right? It's actually the project is a little bit different. It's an of course it is a functional. Of course we are all doing functional, but front end. Okay, but the way the test cases are written, the way it's being understood is a little bit different, right? So you need to follow the policies, the rules of that particular company. So that's the reason the way they write is different. So yeah, sometimes you need to copy and paste just like this, and edit whatever the information there, okay, and put it that you need to edit and put it here. Okay, once you've done this, once we are ready here. So let's go different modules here. So it's parameters. So parameters, you really don't require parameters here. This is for automation. Let's say if you are doing some automation testing, that's what you require is parameters and attachments. Okay, if there is any attachment, you can attach. So this is really don't use this. Although it's there, I recommend don't use it. Why? Okay, here's the thing. Okay, let me double click this. See, you see here, there's again a pop-up window shows up here, right? There's one more attachment here. Use this. Okay, does it make sense? Now, don't get confused with all those things. There's attachment for test plan, there's attachment for test lab. Technically, you don't require all these attachments. You can completely forget it. It's really not required. This attachment in this place. Okay, but if you have to use it, use this one. It's really not required in test plan, but in just emergency scenario, so you can use this one. There's no reason to have this one, because if you put here's the thing. If you put here and if you double click and find out here, it will not be there here, because this is different, that is different. Okay, and the way this is designed is pretty odd, because this is really not required anyway, this attachment. But still, if you have an option, you can use it either way. Test configurations and test coverage. We'll see here test coverage. So this is what RTM, okay, and link defense. Okay, so all these modules are really not required in test plan, of course. Okay, in test plan, this is really not required, and you don't even have to worry about it, because I don't think anyone uses in the test plan for any reason. Okay, so this is how you can use this test plan module. So here's the thing. What is the requirements? Requirements is requirements, right? It's a user stories where what you need to do with that user story and requirement. What is a test plan? Test plan is to write your test cases. Okay, that's called test plan. There's one more. So okay, don't get confused with this test plan in HPLM and test plan document. See, both things are different. See, they named it test plan. It's okay, HPLM named it test plan, but really, test plan document is different. Test plan is a high-level document which is prepared by the QA lead. Okay, we studied all that. But test plan here is for writing your test cases. The test plan in HPLM. If somebody asks that, we need to be really specific, and we need to find out. So, are you talking about HPLM test plan, or are you talking about test plan document? Okay, so you need to be very clear, because again, they might misunderstand it. You just said what is a test plan, so you need to be very clear on that. So which test plan are you talking about? Okay, so make sure you understand that. Okay, and this test plan has nothing to do with the test plan document. Okay, this is for only writing your test cases. So that's what you do in the test plan. What you do is write your test cases. Okay, and the next one you do is requirement coverage. And so to do this requirement, so this is called RTM, requirement traceability matrix. Okay, that's what you'll be doing here. So click here and select requirement. go to the requirements, and here what you're trying to do here is, here you're trying to search requirement, whatever your requirement is. So I know what is my requirement. So this is my requirement, GMO. What I'll do is, either you can drag and drop just like this, or you can use this option, add to coverage without children. Okay, you can do that. So here, this is not really my requirement. So what I'll do is click on this and let's try to do it. Okay, good. It's continued. So now what I did is just I linked it. Linked what? Linked my test cases to that particular requirement. Okay, so this is really manual thing to do. In Rally, you don't really require to link anything, because everything, whatever you're writing inside the requirement, inside the user story, here you're really not writing anything inside anything, right? Here, this is a separate module. That's the reason you need to link it. Because this is pretty much old way of doing the work. Okay, you need to link whatever requirement is. If there's 2-3 requirements, then you need to link 2-3 requirements. Okay, but normally the way the RTM goes is all the test cases, or whatever test cases you have written, should match at least one requirement. The two, of course, you can put the two. Okay, so this is the requirement coverage. This is called requirement traceability matrix. Any questions so far? So here, so that's it. There's only two things here you do in this plan. Only two things. One is writing your test cases and linking, that's called RTM. Linking your test cases to that particular requirement. That's it. Nothing else. If you don't have to worry about these attachments, and so you don't even have to worry on all these things, especially in test plan. Okay. Just you can completely ignore. Even if they, if an interviewer or anyone asks it, you can say it outrightly. It's not really required. And why is that? Because you do it in test lab, not in test plan. Okay, that's what you need to answer. Okay, whenever somebody asks, right? Okay, what you do in this? What is the different modules in this test plan? So we really don't use this module. We use only design steps to write our test case and the requirement coverage, so that we are covering the requirement. That's it. And other modules we really don't worry about it, because it's really not required. And why not? So that's the next question, right? Why not? Valid question. In that case, you need to say that because test plan is only for writing the test cases, because we have all the options in the test lab. Same thing. This gets repeated in the test lab too. Okay. So it's a redundant, right? It's 2 times. So that's the reason we don't use it. Okay. That's why we'll keep it simple here. We don't want to use all these modules here. And if you want to send mail, okay, you can also send mail here. You see this, but this is really at this time it's not really working, so you cannot. But in Rally and all those, it comes quickly. Okay, so that's an integrated third party, and we are working on the cloud. Right, this is not in the cloud, so that's the reason all these are not enabled. Okay, any questions? Okay, so let's move to the next one, test lab. So here, when you come to this test lab, right, again, you need to figure it out which project it is, because here, again, this redundant work. What you have done in the test plan, you see this in the test plan, you have a lot of projects, right? The same project will reappear in this test lab again. Same thing here, there have to be one more directory created for that same, and you need to do the same thing again. So let's do this. Let's create. Oh, yeah, one more thing you want to see here. Right? See, here is the thing. When you go, let's go back to here. Test plan. And if I see if you see this is unlock item, right? So this is unlock. That means it's checked out. You need to check in. See, checked out in sense you're writing here and you're not checked in. So you want to check in. So this scenario is not always available, but when it's there, you need to make sure it is, you're using it. So let's see where is my test case. So this is my test case ID 1022, and I want to check in. Okay, so here if I click this 1022 and check in, and okay, if you have any comments you can change it, so just keep it. Okay, okay, good. Now what does it mean by checked in and checked out, right? So whenever you checked in, you cannot edit it, and if you want to edit it, you want to check out. Okay, once you check out again, you need to put that information saying that why did you check out, and if you want checking in and you want to say, right, what are the changes you made into this. So that's the feature. Okay, that's not always available, but when it's there, you want to make sure it's checked in once you write on this. Okay, and once you have done that, go back to test lab. Now again, you need to figure it out which project you're working on. Once you know this which project, I'll create again. What I'm trying to do here is creating a framework for my test lab. Okay, click on new test set, and you fill up all this information here. And if you know baseline, just a baseline, you can put a baseline. Just all this information, whichever is there, you need to fill it up. Close that, this close that, changed by, it's me, and created at, the date. What is the default environment? We just put as 1, created by, and open date, that's today's date. Status, just put is open. And who is the responsible guy? Of course, I am the QA, so I am the responsible guy. And just build, if you know the build, just put the build. Okay, so once you've done that, you can put the description, why are you doing, and pre-conditions and post-conditions, you can write it here if you want, and click on OK. Okay, so you have just created a framework for your test lab. So this is, we are working on test lab. Okay, now there are no test cases. You see here, there is no test cases here. And what you need to do is you need to pull up those test cases which you have written in test plan. Okay, so I know this is a convoluted process. This is tiresome, but you need to get hold of this somewhere or other. So let's click on test, select test, and once you click on this, again it's this sidebar opens up, and what you're trying to navigate here is test plan, because you need to pull up your test cases, right? This is how you need to do, and again you need to figure it out which project you are working on. Okay, good. We figure it out which project it is, and okay, this is my test cases, and I'm just pulling up here, and okay, again you have to drag and drop or use this button. Okay, so this is how you pull up your test cases. So now you can see, okay, it's supposed to, it has to show up here, the test case, but for some reason it's not showing up. Okay, so that's how it is. Okay, and here you have, okay, don't worry about this. Okay, this you can use this attachment. Don't worry about this attachment. Again, you won't require this one. Automation, don't worry. Okay, this is okay. If you're working on automation, you can put in linked effects. Really don't bother. Okay, if you really want to link effects, or if you want to use it, okay, do this thing. Click on whichever framework you're working on, 16 item icon. Just double click on that. For some reason it doesn't work. Okay, so here you have this attachment. Use this attachment. Okay, now make sure what you're using. So here it's a test lab, and attachments here you're supposed to attach it, because this reflects to that particular set. You see this set. This is the set. This is one set. If you see here, This is one set, because you might create multiple sets, because you might create for Internet Explorer, you want to create for Firefox, you want to create for Apple Safari, you want to create for Microsoft Edge, and so on and so forth. In that case, you get 4 to 5 sets. Okay, so when you're creating such sets, really it's not a good idea to use this attachment, because this attachment is not valid for one set. This is valid for whole framework. So you want to create for individual. So in that case, you want to create on this. Oops. That one, this one. Okay, so don't use this one, this one. Just click on this and you show it here. This is the one, because you are using sets, right? If you have multiple sets, click on that and attach to that. That means if you open any bug or any related, now you are trying to say that that bug is related to particular set, okay, not to whole complete framework. You're not really attaching it. Because if you're doing multiple work, if you're attaching to complete framework, then you don't know which defect belongs to which test case and which test case belongs to which user story. Okay, you get confused. So that's the thing you need to remember, that if you're using this set, use this set and attach whatever defects or whatever information here. Okay, so that's the one thing. And once you have done this, let's say you have done this, execute it. So here is a option to run. Click on run. Again, click on begin run. Now here, once you do this, step 1, it shows this information. So what is the actual? You need to do this, okay, parallelly. That means open the window and put that whatever the information is showing in the test case. Enter this URL in Firefox and click on this, and want to type here. Okay, and click on this. That means it is passed. Okay, if you click on this pass, that means it's passed. Okay, and if you enter GM Online button, then you click enter GM Online button, and online catalog page is displayed. Okay, good, it's displayed, and as for the requirement. Okay, and click on again passed. Again, you can follow the same place. Enter the value 10 for 3% DOM temps. Okay, so you're saying this, put the value 10 for this order quantity and place an order button, and that's what this page is navigating to. Basic of it. Okay, click on that. Okay, and again you do this proceed with order. Click on that. Verify this page. Normally you need to verify this page and proceed with order. And and pass selected. And let's say you have opened some defect, right? Let's say here you have opened defect. So what you want to do is you want to fail this. And here, look at this. Even if all the test cases are passed and one is failed, all set is failed. Okay, so that's what it goes here. Okay, even one is failed, everything is failed. It goes like everything is failed. You want to fail this particular test case, and you want to click on fail. And you know what, you found some issue, then you want to put a shipping and handling issue is showing as $5. This previous issue. Okay, and you want to, once you put that information here, click on end run. And once you click on end run here, it gets updated. You see this report gets updated here, and here and you see this status got failed, because even if one step gets failed, whole set gets failed here. Okay, so you need to remember that. So that's how execution process work in this HPLM. Okay. Again, make sure you want to attaching the attachments. How you're attaching. Click on this option, go to the attachment, and put the attachment whatever you have executed. Okay. You need to do also that. And once you have done that, and you cannot change status here. Okay, no, I'll just change to it's failed, right? I'll just put it passed and it got passed. You cannot do that. Okay, if you're doing that, you are really you'll be getting caught red-handedly. Why? Because look at this execution time here. Now this shows how much time you have taken to complete each and every step, right? It's 121, 120, 121. It's each 1 minute kind of, right? Each step 1 minute. Okay. And if you are using this, if I'll just pass it from here. All this will get updated let's say 120, let's say 125, so it gets all 125, 125, 125, and there you will get caught saying that how can you able to pass all the test cases in just 1 second, less than a second. Okay, so you cannot do that, right? So that's the reason you cannot use the status just like that. This is you need to make sure this thing when you're starting a new project, because you cannot fool. Okay, you cannot fool your lead just catches just like that red-handedly. Okay. This is what they'll call you and ask you. So this is how are you able to pass this test case in just less than 1 second? This is really not possible. So you use this option, which is not really required. Okay. So this is only required when say okay, use this N by A or just make it no run. Okay, that's how you want to use it, but don't use it for passing your test cases. You need to do this manually. Click on that. Run this. You need to run this. Okay. You can continue the manual here or run here. You have to do that manual process and go each step one by one. Okay. Because if you are using this option, it's really not a very good idea to start with. Okay. Moving forward, you'll be knowing it. You know how to use this option. But to start with, you don't want to use that. Okay. Okay. Any questions so far? You can also, so this is we did for one set. If you have multiple sets, set 1, set 2, set 3, set 4, that's for Firefox, that's for IE. So you for each and every browser you may want to create a different set, right? So because this is for you want to put update here, right? This is for IE, this is for Firefox, this is for Apple Safari. Of course, you need a Mac for that to testing. You want to use this Mac machine, and then this is for Microsoft Edge and so on. So 4 or 5 sets. Let's say there are 4 or 5 sets, and you want to run all at a time. You can run this whole set. So this is what the run this set. That means whole sets. Whatever set they are, they one after another they keep running. But really, that's really not required. Because if you are testing in Safari, and in Safari normally you need to test in Mac machines. You are not really testing in normal machines, right? You are not going to test that. You will be using that Mac machine, and there you are actually going to test the Safari. Okay, so that's how the execution is done. And make sure you link. Okay, so we'll talk about this linking. You need to link your defect. See, let's say this defect is failed, just like this, it's failed. Now, once you've done that and you've talk to your lead saying that, hey, what, this is failed, you lead said to open a defect. Now you want to open this defect, go to the defects module. And see, here's the thing. There was an interview question actually. So how many ways can you open a defect? Okay, there was a question in HPLM, how many ways you can open a defect? Now, so technically there are multiple ways to open a defect, but we'll keep it simple. We don't want to use test plan and all those things. There's one way is used to open defect right from the defect module, that is this, and the other way of opening defects is when you're running it. You see, whenever you're running, right, when you click on this, you can either open here. There's not an issue here. Once you run that, you can open here. See this new defect, okay, and uh, that's two ways of opening a defect, okay. So, I mean, there's a multiple ways. You can open right here, just click on this and, you know, you can click here, add a new defect, or you want to go to test plan and open defect here, you go and here opening defect. But this is really doesn't make any sense, okay? It doesn't make sense to anyone. I don't know why these guys have put all these things here. Only two ways, technically multiple ways, but two ways which are important for us to open a defect is one is from the defects module, and the second is while running your test cases. You can open right from there in the test lab section. And although you can use all this test plan module and use the defect, we really don't want to use it because it's really not very helpful because the way it gets linked is very differently. So we are not going to use that either way. Okay, so that's how you can open a defect. Okay, so let's open a defect here. Again, put it short shipping and handling fee. Small information about what the defect is and just put it here. Gym online project. So this is naming convention, right? You need to make sure naming convention is good. And here, since I don't have access, so I'm using this. But otherwise this is really not required. This I use for this production issues or any critical issues. I'll be using this as running as critical issue. So this gets some attention, right? Saying that, hey, what is, you need to fix this as soon as possible because this is a critical issue, a production issue. So that's the reason I'll be using this. But normally it's really not required. It's up to you to use this. Okay, so here again you need to fill up all the information here as usual. Who is assigned to it? The owner of the defect is the developer guy. Which browser were you testing in? Is it IE? Is it Firefox? Is it Microsoft Edge? Is it Apple Safari? So what the issue is, that's a defect, of course. And you have three things: functionality suggestions, security issue, UI suggestion. We'll take it as defect. Is there any version? Go ahead and click on version. This is fixed time is supposed to by the developer. Product area. Which part of the project is this? You need to specify this. What's the priority? So again, we talked about this priority and severity, right? This is the way we need to put it. So of course, a medium. We'll just put it medium. Reproducible, yes or no. If it is no, then you have to be very careful here, right? So because it gets rejected. If it's not reproducible, then of course, the developer puts the comment saying that it's working fine in my machine. Then what you need to do is once it gets rejected, make sure you have coordination with the developer properly. You need to go take your system or whatever, you have to go to the developer and tell them, what, this is what is happening, it's not getting reproduced, I know, but this is a screenshot. And of course screenshot is the heart of the system. Okay, if you are missing the screenshot, then developer, nobody will agree to you, right? They don't care what is important. But if you put a screenshot, okay, they might consider your problem. Okay. And what is subject? The subject. Once you fill all this information, so same defect we try to reproduce here. Since this is reproducible, some things are not reproducible, but we are not worry on that. Here. Okay, so here when trying to order large quantities, shipping and handling fee showing as $5. Okay, for more information, again you can put the image right here. So we'll just put taken screenshot. Screenshot is very important. It should do them. And I'll just use this. Send to desktop. And here again, most of the tools will allow you to add the image right in the in the box in that box, okay, in that field. So just put it quick. So this is a little bit big, you know what, we have this option to change it. Let's put it to 50%. Okay, 50%. Okay, good. This looks good. Oops, we didn't do this. Okay, so we need to, okay, let's do this. See here, we are not specifying properly, then developer will understand this. So we need to put it this. Okay. Remove this. See, there's a problem here, right? So we'll do this. Mhm. Okay, so let's create that and let's see here. Something. Okay, so it got submitted, and if you want to change the image, so this is a screenshot. Okay, so go to the. So it's supposed to display here. For some reason, it's not displaying because uh, got messed up. So here we go here and see the attachment. I want to delete this. Go to the delete it. Click on OK. What you can do is double click this and just go here. Just do it. Put it 50. See, this shows up here in the box and click on OK. Now this is an important thing you need to fill up. What is the summary? Just put it subject. Okay, good. Now this, now this is the defect. Okay, this is the defect, and this is included here. Okay, good. Okay, so this is how you can open a defect here. Okay, and not just that. What you can do is what you have to do is now you just created a defect, right? Now there can be multiple defects, not just one, two, three. You might work on a lot of things. Again, we need to make sure this is a new. This is not supposed to be new. It should be open because developer will not work and they will not get an email. We have to send it, somebody have to send manually, and this doesn't go here. So don't worry about it. So yeah, it doesn't get email. So if you're putting new and you forgotten that, no one can help you out. So make sure you put it here. open. Okay, and let's say this is the defect number 220. Okay, this is the defect number. Remember that 220. Go to the test lab, and for which set have you created it? Go ahead and click here. Once you link defects, go to the link defects and link that defect. Okay, right here. You know the defect number 220 and click on link. Okay, because this is failed, and you're linking this failed. Why it is failed? Where is the defect? So that's the reason you're showing it. Okay, this is the linking process. So once you click on OK, so this link icon shows up here. Okay, it's not showing up, so you want to click on refresh. You see this, the chain icon shows up here. So that means this shows that your test case is now linked with that defect. Now let's go back to the defect. And if you see this chain icon shows up here. Okay, it's not showing up. You want to refresh it. Okay, you see this now. Okay, that means when you click on this chain icon, it directly goes to what test case is it, which entity is related to. Okay, that shows up here. Okay. So this is how you want to do this linking process once you defect. So this is linking. You're not doing in Rally. The reason because Rally, you're creating inside the test cases, everything you're doing inside the user story. So that's why everything was skipped in that place. Now this is a manual process, and you want to do all this manual things. You need to link each and every module to each other. Otherwise, if you forget about this linking, if you're not working on that, then if you have created it, your lead will check. Okay, saying that where is the defect for this? If you have created, where is the link? Because if it is not linked, how would I know which defect it belongs to, which test case it belongs to, what is the set for it is, and all those issues. Okay, so that's the reason you need this linking. Okay, this is a manual process, but you have to do it. Okay, and there's other options here. Attachments. If you don't want to use it, that's fine. You can attach here. Okay, that's the attachment. Linked entities, you can attach other defects, you can attach a requirement. See, sometimes this defect becomes a requirement for the future release because the defect is so big, sometimes the defect is so big that they make it requirements, and that goes into next release. Okay. And this is development activity. There is any development activity in the history. Okay. Any questions so far? So this is how you can create defects. Okay. And so three major things, four things. One is the requirement. In the requirements, you view the requirement. That's it. You view it and see what you have to do. And you will be only having read-only access, not write. Even if you have write access, you're not supposed to write anything because you're not a BA, you're QA. And then once you go in the test plan, there you have read and write access. So it's your job to create test cases, and do RTO. That's the requirement traceability matrix. You link all your test cases to the particular requirement. Okay, and that's what you're doing in this plan. In test lab, what's the test lab? You are executing your test cases. Pull out the requirements from test plan. That's you are doing internally. Once you do it, execute the test case, and that's it. And in the defects, you open the defects. So that's all about HPLM. Any questions so far? So I know this is a little bit convoluted and complex. Okay, so if you have any questions, you can reach out to me. Okay, I can show you through video, or if you are if you're stuck somewhere, or if you want more information, we can we can have a call on this, and I can show you through video if you are missing something. Okay. And if you need access, you have to reach out to Tagore, and he will give you the access. But I would say just go through this and understand, and it's like good to know. Okay, it's good to know, but it's not really necessary to to just overwhelm on this HPLM. No, I just want HPLM. I'll only learn HPLM. I'll not learn other tools. No, that's really not a good idea because really things are changing pretty fast, and agile is coming on, and this things becomes outdated at one point of time. Okay, unless HP changes the way it looks, changes all this, they make improvements. Other than that, this will be going long way, and it will be really getting outdated at one point of time. So it's just good to know because yeah, I know this test plan, test lab. I know how to do it. That's all you need. Why? Okay, you don't have to do R&D on this. You don't have to develop any new module. Okay, you don't have to do anything unless you're going as HP ALM administrator. Okay, but that's really not a uh, even that will not be for long because things are moving very fast. Okay, so we'll just have a quick glance on. So tomorrow we'll talk about QTP. So just pretty quick QTP, and I also have a Selenium script. Let's try to run that. Let's see how the it's a really QTP. It's an automation tool for the regression. So we just have a quick look on it, and let's see how the scripts runs, and uh, we'll see how this goes. So if you guys have no questions, can we close this class for today? So actually, you know what? Homework, not many people have, so one people have completed. Okay, so just take look at it. So this is the homework which is actually due today, right? So only one. This is the transcript. So it's good, right? I mean, because it helps you out, and you can put in your resume saying that uh, you have completed software testing fundamentals, and you are good at it, and it's good. It's good for you, right? It's helpful for you that you have achieved certificate on this. Okay, so that's good. That's yeah. That was okay. That is due on tomorrow. Okay, so tomorrow is the due date actually. Okay, good. Some people have completed. Okay, so okay. Thank you guys.